in December 2018. So just bear with us for one moment.
Hi, I'm Scott Morgan.
And I'm Tony Kinnett.
This is NOFA News.
Next up is our closing keynote speaker.
Hey, Tony.
Yes, Scott?
What do our closing keynote speaker and farmers have in common?
I don't know, what?
They're both outstanding in their field.
All right, so we'll send it off to you, Senator Booker. Well, I'll kill some time for a moment. Maybe he's having mic difficulties. I'm gonna go back to video. Just kind of hanging out. We're all very excited to hear and see what Senator Booker has to say. We know that he's a wonderful advocate for us, for the environment, for the people, and we're all super stoked to get some time with him.
Yeah, and maybe I'll just say a little bit about tomorrow. What we're planning to do tomorrow is we're switch gears just a little bit because we've really focused on the social justice issues of New Jersey and our nation for day one. Day two is all about climate change and adaptation strategies. And we have a number of speakers who are going to speak into what we can do differently to adapt to the climate change in our state. I'm looking forward to having Jackie Ricotta speak and Chris Smay, Dan Mays, Eric Tonesmeyer. We've got a great lineup for you guys. And we're starting the day with Dave Robinson, our state climatologist. Okay. All right. So with that, I'm just going to leave it.
Are we there? Was it Zach that we were?
Yeah, I think he's having some trouble getting into the Zoom with the.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that's we've all been there. Yes, there's a message just came in. Someone wants Scott's NOFA t-shirt.
You can't have this one, but we might be able to scratch one up. There might be one kicking around the office somewhere. There's lots of treasure that has accumulated over the years at the NOFA office. Should have been ready with more.
What year was that?
Let's see. That was 2013.
Oh, okay.
Going back a bit.
I'm really happy with how things have been turning out today. We've had, really great speakers, great topics, and I think, speaking for most of our community here, I'm glad to know that there are more of us that are, standing up for food and the environment and making sure people can get access to food and to seeds. And of course, we're putting seeds in your brains by having this, and we're happy to grow with you and to know that you're going to help hand things down. I really love. Oh, I heard someone, but I love the idea of giving our children seed bags. Here, look, this is your future of food, and I mean it really. I'd love to figure out a way to incorporate that into maybe some of the garden projects from our earlier talkers. It's an awesome concept.
One of the fun things about saving and growing your own seed is that, when you stabilize or when you've made your own landrace, you get to name it. You can name it whatever you want. So, it's something to think about. Save your own seeds. It doesn't have to be, Jolly's purple kale. It can be whatever you want. It can be Tony's special sauce carrots.
Yes, Tony's sour kale. But Is he almost there?
Working on it. 1 second. Sorry.
Okay, no sweat, no sweat. I mean, I'll keep talking forever, but the people aren't here to see me. They won't.
And my list of farm jokes is really pretty limited to, like, why did the mushroom keep getting invited to the party?
I don't know why, Scott.
Because he's a real fun guy.
I'm sure you've all heard
There's,
that.
it's, we need Tony, you have a laugh track?
Yeah, I do. I'll bring
Their
that
fun
in.
jokes are always funnier when people are laughing.
Okay, everybody, you can unmute to laugh.
Yeah. Well, and we've had some great
Well,
questions.
I'll take this opportunity to say thank you to all of the NOFA people behind the scenes. There is an extensive list of folks on the education committee that put a lot of time and effort into lining up these speakers and making sure that everything's in place. And it's a task that goes on for quite some time during a regular year. And this year, as with everything, just a little harder than every other year. So I just want to say thank you to Nagisa for her leadership as the ED, and thanks so much to the education committee. You guys have done a great job here.
Thanks, Scott. Let's just remind everyone that they need to dial in right on time tomorrow, not to miss what you guys have in store for them right at the beginning of the day.
Tomorrow morning, we've got a very special Sunday morning treat for you. So we won't give away the surprise just yet. But
no, you won't. But there is a surprise.
There is a surprise.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. If Senator Booker looks like you have signed on with us. There he is.
Eureka.
Eureka. Awesome. Welcome.
It is so good to be with you all today. Thank you for welcoming me.
Thank you for being here. We've read your bio, made sure everybody knows a little bit more about you, and we are excited to hear what you've got to say with us.
Well, I want to first just give you guys my heart. I'm really excited about this gathering. I'm really hopeful for this space, one that I just see more and more increasingly urgent. And so for the Northeast Organic Farming Association of New Jersey to be standing up and pulling people together in community, even though we're virtual, is just very exciting today. And I know you all have heard from many people about the importance of our food system and the challenges we face, from farming, protecting farmers, protecting farm workers, to establishing local food systems, to protect food sovereignty. And I'm grateful for what I think is a growing movement in America that we need to grow even greater and larger, because all of our lives really depend upon it. And so our food system right now, as so many people here know, is interconnected and interwoven. And as King said so eloquently, Martin Luther King, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And so we know that the injustices within our food system affect our health justice, affect our environmental justice, affect economic justice, affect racial justice. Food is at the locus of all the areas, not just of assuring justice, but really helping us to have high levels of well-being and fulfillment in this nation. And so while organic and regenerative farmers in New Jersey and really across the country are a beacon of light, I believe, in showing us a way forward, they are currently too few in number. And our whole food system, which is fundamentally broken, is one of the biggest drivers away from what I think is the kind of regenerative, sustainable, empowering farming that we need. And it does not, this broken food system does not reflect our common values as a people in this nation. It is not a dramatization to say that the way we are producing food right now and consuming food in this country is really quite literally a matter of life and death. And so that's true for our workers who are being forced to risk their lives to get food onto our plates as they are crowded into meat packing plants that have become hotbeds for COVID-19 outbreaks. This is true for independent family farmers who have been under such an attack. Farmers and ranchers, over the last 60 years, we have lost more than 1 million independent family farmers in this country. Farm debt is at an all-time high. The farmer's share of our consumer dollar continues to dramatically decline. And we are hearing heartbreaking stories of farmer suicides. Meanwhile, large corporations who are squeezing farmers at every side are getting richer and richer and richer off of this broken system. Our food system is also broken for so many rural communities around this country who are forced to often live near these massive manure lagoons, making life miserable for them and their neighbors who have their access to clean air and clean water stolen from them by these large corporate factory farms. And our food system is broken from a public health perspective and in multiple ways. First, we currently pour massive federal subsidies into a system that is literally making us sick. From diabetes to heart disease and childhood obesity, these things are plaguing our nation at rates that have not been seen by previous generations, as cheap, unhealthy foods have become the new normal in our country. Second, food insecurity is a real issue. Today in our country, an estimated 14 million children are not getting enough to eat on a daily basis in the wealthiest country in human history. Let me repeat, in 2020, in the United States of America, when an estimated 30 to 40% of our food supply in our country is going to waste, we have 14 million children who are going to bed hungry, undermining their health and well-being. We know that Black and brown children in particular are at the highest risk of food insecurity. And the great treasure of our nation, which is in all of our children, is at risk. And third, scientists and public health professionals are telling us in very clear terms that because of the high concentration of animals and the terrible conditions inside factory farms for those animals, and the overuse of antibiotics on those animals, there is a serious risk that a factory farm in the United States of America could be the source of the next pandemic, the next virus or bug that is resistant to antibiotics and that it becomes a massive threat to human life and well-being. And so our food system finally is broken for animals, for farm animals, with the billions of animals each year treated with such immense cruelty that we are all forced to look away. That you see states trying to pass these ag-gag laws to hide the shame of the way we're treating so many animals. And rather than admit that this horror is going on, you often see these covered facilities hiding eyes from what is really going on. And so this is a broken food system that we have to change. And before I discuss some of the bills that I've mentioned and that I've introduced, I just want to help you understand what my personal journey is, and to really address a question that many of you are thinking is like, what is this big, bald, vegan senator from Newark, New Jersey doing, spending so much time in Washington faced on food system issues and frankly, on the struggles of our farmers and ranchers? Why is this such a passion for me? And the answer is that my work has been so directly informed from my time as a mayor of New Jersey's largest city, as well as my travels across New Jersey and across the United States, seeing the brokenness of our current food system firsthand and how it hurts everyone. Everyone is losing, but these massive corporations who have taken over our food system and perverted our heritage. Nearly 83% of the students in Newark, New Jersey receive free or reduced price lunches. And in some cases, that is their only meal they have in a given day. Students continue to show that better nutrition is linked, studies, continue to show that better nutrition is linked to success in the classroom. Yet many students, and particularly students of color, are facing inconsistent, inequitable access to healthy foods, living in food deserts that hinder their academic performance and their health and well-being. When I became mayor of Newark, we saw that this city was almost entirely one of those food deserts. meaning that, residents just did not have the access to the foods that their bodies and their minds and their hearts and their spirits so needed. Fresh fruits and vegetables, which our government itself tells us should be over half of our diet. We were able to attract supermarkets into Newark. I worked really hard, including a Whole Foods and a ShopRite. We provided grants to bodegas so that they could purchase refrigeration equipment. And we started growing more food in the city, from small community gardens to multiple acre urban farms we created here. And we distributed the food that was produced on those farms to farm stands and farmer markets in our city. But the scale of the problem was too big. And ultimately, I realized that federal policies were working against our local efforts. And after I was elected to the Senate by the great voters of New Jersey, thank you, I traveled not just around the state, but around the country. And what I saw was that the same broken food system so hurting and failing Newark was failing all of us all around the country. I visited Duplin County, North Carolina, where I was brokenhearted when I saw firsthand how these massive factory farms that moved into low-income communities, low-income minority communities, and all the misery that those factory farms brought those residents. I met with residents there who told me they felt like prisoners in their own homes, unable to go outside or even open their windows and run their air conditioning because of the terrible stench from those nearby lagoons of manure, which caused them to suffer disproportionate problems with their respiratory systems. I sat on bales of hay with farmers and ranchers in Missouri and Nebraska and Kansas and Illinois and Iowa, Republicans and Democrats. And I heard story after story from cattlemen who told me that they used to have dozens of different buyers for their animals, but now they had only one or just a few to buy their cattle. And what this meant was that the marketplace was no longer a marketplace. They faced monopolistic problems. And that the fair prices that their fathers and mothers and grandparents used to get no longer existed. They were being squeezed on every level. I also met with contract growers who have told me how they feel trapped in the current system. Words like sharecropping have been used because of the debt that they have incurred and how they fear retaliation if they speak out about the predatory practices of big corporate integrators. And along the way, I learned about the ugly history of profound discrimination by our own government, by the USDA, targeting Black farmers to get them off of their land and their heritage. It caused the loss of millions of acres of Black-owned farmland over the last century, accelerating, in fact, in the last 50 years. And so I got to work. I sat down and listened to farmers and ranchers, environmental groups, animal welfare advocates, leaders focused on climate change, healthcare professionals, consumers. We created a coalition to sit at the table with us and get bills written to challenge this broken food system that could address the climate crisis, that could get us producing more nutritious, healthy food, that could pay farmers a fair price for being stewards of their lands. In fact, could get them new revenue streams because farmers have to lead our way out of this climate crisis. And I also learned about a lot of things that we could do together in writing bills to deal with the discrimination against Black farmers. The first bill I want to tell you about quickly, and which I expect many of you to be excited about, I hope, is the Climate Stewardship Act. This bill would invest billions of dollars directly into existing USDA conservation programs that farmers and ranchers are familiar with, helping them improve their farms and combat climate change. Not only would this lead to healthier soils, substantial carbon sequestration, but it would also make farms more resilient to future flooding and extreme weather events and would protect our drinking water. The bill would also invest billions of dollars in on-farm renewable energy and hundreds of millions of dollars annually in building stronger local and regional food systems. Specifically, the Climate Stewardship Act would do these things. The bill would increase the CRP from 25 million acres up to 40 million acres, taking these acres out of production and paying farmers for the ecosystem services that those lands will now provide. The bill would invest billions more each year into the USDA working land programs, the CSP, EQIP, to pay farmers for climate-friendly practices like planting cover crops, restoring wetlands, using rotational grazing, and planting buffer strips of trees to protect waterways. The bill will also invest billions and billions of dollars into Renewable Energy for America program, or REAP, to pay farmers to install solar and wind and other sources of renewable energy on their farms. And the bill would triple the USDA conservation technical assistance funding and double funding for ag research, with the new dollars targeted to research focused on reducing emissions and increasing carbon sequestration in the soil. I believe this bill will help a lot of organic farmers, and that it has the potential to transform the practices being used by conventional farms as well. And now, with Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff joining me in the Senate, we have a path forward to do big climate change bill this year. And I want these payments to farmers and ranchers to be a big part of the climate change legislation. All of you attending this conference are beacons of light showing the way forward. And we need to get a lot more farmers doing what you all do and paying them for the transition and for their contributions to the larger call of the climate crisis. The second bill, real quick, is the Farm System Reform Act. This bill would strengthen the Packers and Stockyards Act, providing more bargaining power for family farmers and ranchers, and will phase out the largest factory farms that are so detrimental to rural communities. The bill would also hold meatpacking companies responsible for the harm that factory farms cause, and would not allow them to continue to externalize the costs to public health and the environment caused by those pernicious factory farms. And finally, the bill would help make those farmers and ranchers caught in our current unfair system have new opportunities by creating a $100 billion fund over 10 years to help them transition to more sustainable practices. And before I conclude, I just want to say this issue of systematic racism that moved so many farmers off of their land, that cost billions of dollars in family wealth, these outrageous insults, we have to address them. 1 million Black farmers in 1920, a century later, less than 50,000 Black farmers in America left. And we have to address that to make sure that we do substantive things. And that's why my bill on dealing with this issue is catching a lot more momentum in the Senate. And it has as its pillars helping to restore African-American farmers to the land, help future Black farmers get started, and for all farmers from disadvantaged communities, help have an apprenticeship program on the farm work to prepare them for what is one of the most noble professions in the history of humanity, which is growing food, growing animals, creating a more healthy world. And so I just want to conclude by saying the challenges we face are enormous. I am excited for this next Congress because I have a tremendous coalition that includes so many of you there that is going to tell the truth about our broken systems. And we're going to take it on. We're going to raise public consciousness. We're going to continue the growing movement we see in America. And so I want to close with a quote from our youth poet laureate Amanda Gorman, who you all heard, or many of you heard at the President Biden's inauguration, where she said, "For there is always light if we're only brave enough to see it, if we're only brave enough to be it." You all are light workers, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak with you today. But even more than that, I am excited about the coalition and the movement that we all are a part of, and what it's going to do for saving not just the soul of America, but helping our nation to flourish and thrive amidst a lot of the challenges we now face.
Wonderful. Yes. Bravo.
Thank
bravo.
you so much for your time. That's incredible.
And so one of the repeat questions that keeps coming up is, okay, so what can we do to help you get these policies changed? Where do you see us?
Well, I mean, that's the biggest thing right now is I need you. We've got to deepen this coalition. We've got to get the word out. And there's an old saying that change does not come from Washington, it comes to Washington.
Yeah.
And everything from the labor movement to the suffrage movement to the civil rights movement, it wasn't a bunch of guys on the Senate floor who got together in a huddle and said, hey fellas, it's about time those women have a right to vote, right? Yeah, okay, let's go do this. No, it was Americans who demanded it. And so what I need is this organization. I need a stronger coalition. And what I'm gonna do, if you will allow me, is try to up our communication to let you all know when the Ag Committee is meeting. The next farm bill is being planned right now, even though I think it's 2022 is the year it's due. But the reality is, are we going to continue to have a farm bill that puts billions of dollars into funding massive corporate factory farming? Or are we gonna have a farm bill that invests in those farmers that are showing a way forward, not just for farming in America and animals in America, but also for a healthier America? And so I need your help. That's how you can help is we need to create a tighter coalition. And I'm hoping that through this organization, I can better engage with you, learn from you, because I'm still learning in this. I didn't grow up on a farm. I grew up or doing farm work. I grew up in the suburbs of Jersey. And I'm still learning and growing, but I'm gonna tell you right now, my staff, my team, we all see this at the center of the biggest issues that are facing America right now. And I'm hoping we can deepen our coalition and communication so we can work on changing Washington.
Well, I think you've got a panel of open arms and ears and feet on the ground, as they say. And I do want to just, before I hand it back over to Nagisa, Sonia, what you said, 100%. We get the kids, we teach the kids, because the kids are the next generation going to Washington. So yeah, we're with you. We love it.
I had to unmute Senator Booker. It is such an honor to talk to you. I am from South Jersey. I followed you. The kids, Senator, the kids. We've tried for years to get an appointment because we're the Garden State. We need to put this back into our schools. We need agricultural education. We need 4-H. We've done this in Glassboro, New Jersey. Why are we the Garden State and we are not educating our children in garden education? And Governor Murphy just put through the Climate in Education in Schools bill. Let's do this. How do we do this? A former teacher, now running a nonprofit down here in South Jersey. How do I get on this team, Senator? When
this COVID crisis is over, I know my staff is on here, I want to come down and see what you're doing at that nonprofit.
You got to come down to Glassboro, Senator. We've got this going. We are trying to create this model town. We want this to be the model. We want to show that if we can put lawns out and bring gardens in, we need to do this in our towns. We need to make schools food hubs. We need to make churches food hubs because we know what's happening in our communities, Senator.
Yes.
We know.
Yes.
Let's feed our people. Let's increase their health. Let's do this.
I know Ron Finley in his famous TED Talk.
Ron Finley tweeted you and was like, Senator, go call her.
Well, I do not want to get on the wrong side of you or Ron, but in his TED Talk, what does he say? He goes, in South Central, we got drive-bys and drive-throughs, and the drive-throughs are killing more people than the drive-bys.
That's right.
And the power, I remember when kids plant kale, they eat kale, and it's amazing what I saw as when I was mayor of the city of Newark and we started doing, just like you said, combining gardening and planting with schools, the transformation of our kids when they were growing a tomato. And I remember my grandfather went to University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, an HBCU that was agricultural and normal school.
Right.
And so he started as a farmer. And I will never forget, one of the greatest life memories of me is him taking me in Harrington Park, New Jersey, saying, we're gonna dig up this lawn and we're gonna plant a garden. And it is still one of the most meaningful experiences I ever had. The first time I was planting in the soil and then taking the stuff in with him and my mom and cooking it. It is a powerful reconnection, spiritual reconnection that helps mind, body, and spirit. I'm telling you right now, I want to come. So as soon as this As soon as this COVID allows us.
Hook up the senator with my email. Let him know who I am, because we have done this. I have had children, first, second, and third graders pull radishes out of the ground and eat them, and I won't do that. But we need to do this. We need to make New Jersey the example for the rest of the world. And I'm on the team. Thank you, Senator. I'm a proud voter for you. I believe in you. Thank you for everything you're doing. And thank you, everyone, for letting me manipulate a little time here. And
well, if I had a lighter, I would light a match or whatever you.
Yeah, well,
hallelujah. Amen. Thank you.
Yes, Senator Booker, there would be no way to stop her. So we might as well graciously let her have the floor.
All right.
I'm Nagisa Manabe, the Executive Director of NOFA New Jersey. Thank you so much for joining us. I do know that your staff made it very clear to me that you really need to move on to your next meeting at 4:30. And so I had a whole list of prepared questions, and the chat is filled with questions.
But this is so much more fun than my next meeting.
But whatever it is, I'm scared of Zach. I want to make sure that he's happy. So if it's all right with you, we're going to aggregate all the questions and the people who asked them, so you can have an idea, and we can work with your staff to get the answers back out to this group, because I think they're really anxious to have the answers.
Well, please do. And in all seriousness, not just for Sonia, we've all been pent up by the pandemic, and obviously I have to lead by example. But as soon as we're able, we will be all over the Garden State, because we're going to elevate this movement as a major pillar of what I work on as your senator going forward. We're now in the majority. I'm going to have a lot more ability to drive these issues, and I'm gunning for that farm bill to change it. You all know how much corporate so-called welfare that's in it, and how it is. I mean, just the fact that only 2% of our subsidies go to fruits and vegetables is an example of how wrong the system is. So I need you more than you know, and I need this coalition that you all have created, and I need to get to know you better. You need to help inform me. I work for you. You pay my salary, and I want you all at the end of this next year to say that we've got the best, not a champion, but the best champion on food justice issues in the entire United States Senate. So that's my goal. I said heavy ambition for us, but I can't be successful without you. So if you want to put any questions to us, my team and I will write something up and get it back to you. But let's make this more regular. I'd love to virtually, as long as we have to say virtually. But after that, I look forward to being out with you all and eating some radishes right from the ground.
Yeah. We talked to your staff about doing a farm tour of New Jersey from Montclair to Cape May, and doing a whole bunch of stops in between. Sonia, Paige, Isles and Trenton, Newark Conservancy, your old friends. We need to do a road trip with your staff. So hopefully.
I would love that.
Yeah,
I would love that.
that'd be great.
Okay, thank you,
There's
everybody.
always good
Thank
food.
you so much.
When you go to farms, there's always good food. So
It's a vegan paradise.
yes, for sure. So, all right, well, cool. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been a spectacular winter conference, in my opinion. I think this 2021, one great thing is going to come out of it is it's our virtual winter conference. So I want to say thank you to everyone who's tuned in and who's hung in there with us. We've got 170 plus viewers all at the same time. So we're really making an impact. So together, we're making an impact. Got anything wonderful to say to these great people?
I mean, you can't have more of an impact than having the ear of our senator. I mean, that's incredible stuff. Glad you guys all made it out tonight. Be back bright and early. We started at 9.
And let me just apologize to those people who we had pre-arranged to have asked their questions. We really did have to respect the senator's schedule, which was very, very tight today. So I will make sure that he gets your questions and who asked them very clearly and with your background. So, accept our apologies, but thank you very much for submitting your questions. Really appreciate it. All right.
All righty.
All right.
So we'll see you guys in the morning.
Yep. I'm going to leave the room open, even if Tony signs off, because if anybody wants to talk after the conference is officially over, we'll leave time for networking. And I think Mike is going to host, because there he is. All right.
Yeah, what do you think? Like till 5 o'clock?
Yeah, I
Nikki,
think
so
so.
we'll keep it.
Yeah,
We'll keep
yeah.
it up. So, folks, if you'd like to use the chat to, to put up questions and topics, others might see that and they could respond to you directly or on the group. If you'd like to unmute and say some kind of a little word, I'll try to recognize you if you want to share with the group something.
So,
or ask a
Mike, don't
question.
take it personally. The numbers are dropping rapidly. I
Oh,
think
no,
we
I'm
should
not-
work them out. So there's Dr. DeMoss. How are you doing, Jean?
Yeah, this winter conference has been going on for many, many years. And so the biggest thing that we're missing here is that sort of buzz and the hubbub and the
When this is
cheers
over,
and the
you gotta
hugs.
Gotta help Dad. If you're going out at 6, move the refrigerators tonight because they're
I'm gonna wait till it ends.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was amazing. that was incredible. I am fired up.
Well, I'm glad. I hope you're ready to do another Festimato, Gabby.
My taste buds are ready. They have recovered from the 30,000 tomatoes that I ate.
I'm really hoping by September that we're all vaccinated. Maybe we'll have the senator come to Festimato. What do you think?
Great idea. Love it. Yeah. Fully support that idea.
It was very like impactful when he was saying he needs us, right? Like we can't let him down, right? Because he's really, so
And each other.
that really struck me. And that's something I'm going to take very seriously, the fact that he's asking us for help. And what does that really look like? What does it really look like? Most of us have studied or looked at how change happens to some degree in history and what can we do?